Hey guys, how are you? Welcome back to Grit and Grace Coaching. If you follow me over on Facebook, then you know I have been talking for days about being ridiculously excited about May being Mental Health Awareness Month. I want to work really hard this month on bringing more awareness and insight to the different mental health disorders that are out there. I know I won't be able to cover them all in the month, but I'm definitely going to try to cover the more common ones, ones that we see a little bit more often, and just kind of break them down a little bit more. I have several clients. I am a substance abuse counselor day to day, and I focus a lot on mental health. I am finishing up my master's program for licensed mental health counseling, so I'm almost there. And a lot of times we're focusing at work on mental health and how sometimes people use drugs or alcohol to cope with those mental health illnesses. I have a lot of clients that have said over the years that they have gone for different either psych evaluations, mental health evaluations with, various different agencies. And the consistent thing that I hear is that when they're going and doing these evaluations, a lot of these other professionals are diagnosing them with something but not really telling them what that is, what it looks like on a day-to-day basis. They're just kind of like, here's what I think's going on. Here's some medication. I'll see you again in a couple months and we'll pick back up then to see what's going on. That's hard. That's rough because at the end of the day, you're telling something big to somebody about themselves, but not really what that looks like on a day-to-day basis. So unfortunately, I don't really get surprised when my clients come in and they don't either believe in mental health or they don't believe in their diagnosis because it was never really properly explained to them. So hopefully, these videos and these posts over the next few weeks will help kind of break that down. So what I'm going to start on today is bipolar disorder. This is actually one of my favorite mental health illnesses to work with, and it's one that I deal with the most often. So I know it's probably weird to hear somebody say that they have a favorite mental health illness that they like to work with, but it's true. It is what it is. I do. I think it's also really helped that a lot of my clients that have had bipolar disorder have been very open to counseling, and that makes the process so much easier. So what we look at with bipolar is there's actually a few different types of bipolar disorder, but for the sake of this video not being 3 hours long, I'm just going to really focus on bipolar 1 and 2 because those are your more commonly diagnosed forms of bipolar. So in those, the main difference between bipolar 1 and bipolar 2 is going to be how long and how intense somebody's symptoms last while they're around. In bipolar disorder, you have periods, which is usually weeks, of a depressed state, not getting out of bed. It's really, for the most part, a lot of my clients say it's pretty debilitating. They try really hard. They want to go do those things, but they just don't feel that they can because there's no motivation, no energy. On the flip side of that, somebody with bipolar disorder is then going to deal with a manic state. And what a manic state is going to look like is kind of think of Tigger from Winnie the Pooh, so to speak. We love Tigger. Tigger's awesome, but at the end of the day, Tigger's flat out freaking chaos. And he's bouncing around. He's happy. He's doing his thing, but he's all over the place. He doesn't know how to really calm down, slow down, and just kind of stay there. And that's very true with the manic state. So most of the time, people in that part of bipolar disorder are going to struggle a lot with not wanting to eat, not wanting to sleep, not really wanting to slow down. And this is actually more of a welcome change for them after being in depressed state, because who wants to stay in bed and feel down all the time. So when they get into that manic state, they're like, hell yeah, let's go get some stuff done. I have all this energy. They're aware that they're in a manic state, but typically don't really see anything wrong with it. They're seeing it as a much needed break from that depressed state. And so a lot of times what happens is, let's say we start with the dishes in the morning. We're doing the dishes and then we have a thought, I need to start the laundry before it gets too much later. When we're in that manic state, we will stop the dishes to go start the laundry. But then in the middle of doing the laundry, we realize, oh, I need to go vacuum. Stop the laundry, go do the vacuuming. So at the end of the day, a lot of times people look back and they're like, wait a minute, I've been busting my nuggets all day long, but I don't feel like I got anything done. And over time, that wears on somebody with bipolar as well. You know, it's wearing on them that they're depressed. It's wearing on them that when they're manic and they do have the energy, they're not able to get a lot of stuff actually done in one day. And that's, you know, just as frustrating because we're trying to figure out, like, what the heck, you know, what's going on. So, another way that people tend to really handle bipolar disorder is through drug and alcohol use, unfortunately. Most of the time, people, it's not like guaranteed, you know, that somebody who struggles with bipolar disorder is even going to use drugs. But if they do tend to like uppers. They want to mimic that manic state. So methamphetamine is very popular. Cocaine is very popular. Another one that I see a lot of time is just with caffeine. All of my clients that go through bipolar disorder have these huge, you know, monsters, or the Dunkin' Donuts, you know, jumbo grande iced coffee with, you know, Lord knows what in it. And they're constantly focused on, I have to have a Red Bull, caffeine, coffee, something. So wanting to mimic that manic state is absolutely not uncommon at all, but it does definitely cause a lot of problems because our physical health is very connected to our mental health. So if we're running around, we're not eating, we're not sleeping, we're not taking care of ourselves, our bodies can only do that for so long before it's going to shut down. And unfortunately, a lot of clients do deal with suicidal thoughts, suicidal attempts, self-harm attempts. It's very difficult for somebody to go from the lowest of the low with depression to the highest of the high and then back again. And a lot of my clients will very openly say that when they go from the manic state back to the depressed state, they can feel themselves slowing down, but for the most part, it's going to feel like they are on this windy road going around a mountain, 100 miles an hour, and they slam into a brick wall that they never even saw coming. And going from that high to immediate low, it's going to take a toll on anybody, which is why I very much recommend to my clients with bipolar disorder, please journal. Not only in your manic states, but definitely in your depressed states too. So any of the thoughts, feelings, emotions that come along with dealing with bipolar disorder on a daily basis, it gives you some form of an outlet. If you don't really like writing, music, puzzles, Legos, anything that kind of takes your mind off of what's going on and puts it on this activity that just kind of takes you into a different, more happy place, is going to help as well. I am a huge advocate, trust me, if somebody can do or deal with a mental health illness without medication, I'm all for it. Unfortunately, bipolar is one that is very difficult to deal with without medication. However, there are things that you can do, so I'm going to give you some stuff. If medication is absolutely not your thing, make your own decisions. But I do recommend talking to either a mental health counselor or a doctor about your concerns with the medication and see if there's any other things that they can come up with, or times of the day that you can take medication that might not impact you as much as if you're trying to take it, you know, during working hours and stuff like that. But you want to journal. Journal is great. Get a planner. A planner is amazing with slowing yourself down, knowing exactly what's on your agenda from day to day, not trying to keep everything up in here in your head. Most of the time, people who have bipolar disorder also have anxiety. So they're trying to do a lot, keep a lot in their head, while also struggling with their highest of the highs and the lowest of the lows. So planners are extremely helpful, and plan maybe 1 or 2 activities a day tops that you do. If you're picking 2 things, we're manic, we're over here saying, Ashley, I can do 20 things. Let's not. That's not going to help. Two things, you know, make one of those tasks go in the morning, take you a break around lunchtime, and then the second task, do that until the afternoon. You're gonna train yourself into seeing that you can slow down long enough, get this stuff done, and then when you're able to actually check your tasks off the list and you're not having to come back to them later, it's an amazing feeling and you'll start to see the benefit of it. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out. Let me know however I can help. But talk to somebody for sure, because bipolar, I know, is not an easy one to deal with. We can get through it, but we got to work together. Thank you guys. Have a good one.